Madea voice, then we know, okay, ha ha ha.
Right.
When he has Tyler's voice, usually his legs spread out, and
He's
the wig
sitting there
slides back, and he's saying, okay, Cassie, don't do that. Could you try to do blah, blah, blah. So Mr. Perry has a way of writing, a story that unfolds before you, and you've played her this way, but by the time you get here, you realize, oh, there's some trying times going on, and you can see it. I have Bell's palsy, and I contracted this March 11th of last year. And
Cassi Davis, an actor known for starring in Tyler Perry's House of Pain and its spin-off, The Pains, has been gracing the headlines lately, but it's nothing to smile about. The now 59-year-old Mississippi native is said to know classified dirty secrets involving her boss, Tyler Perry, that if she dares say, her life will be well on the line.
I don't know what it is, but, hey, I figure when it is time for the Lord to straighten it out, he will.
So the big question is, was her alleged death a plot by Tyler Perry to keep her quiet? And just what are these secrets she knows that put her at a crossroads with the filmmaker? We got all that lined up, but first things first, what really happened between Cassi Davis and Tyler Perry?
I heard that Cassie died. I'm like, Cassie who? Like Cassi Davis, Miss Ella, House of Pain, Alabama. I was like, I just talked to her on the phone and she wasn't dead, but let me call her back.
Lately, death hoax pranks have unfortunately become a thing. But as recently as last year, actor and film director Tyler Perry made it known that he does not find them funny. In February last year, the Madea creator hopped on Instagram to address a rumor that Cassi Davis, an actress in his series House of Pain, had passed away. In a social media post, the filmmaker shared a screenshot of an article that read, "American actress Cassi Davis died of lung cancer at the age of 58. In bold red text, Perry added, "This is a lie." After asking his supporters to turn the sound on for the post, he noted that he'd gotten multiple phone calls and text messages from people upset that Davis died, which prompted him to see if the rumors were true. "I just talked to her on the phone and she wasn't dead. But let me call her back," the New Orleans native said in the audio. He noted that after he got a hold of the actress, he asked her, "Cassi, are you sure you're not dead?" She jokingly responded that her food was so good that she might have been in heaven. The actress informed him that she'd heard the rumor a few times before. But here's the thing, who is behind it all? Allegedly, sources close to the actress say Perry uses this tactic to intimidate Cassi into remaining silent about what she knows about him. Along with the audio, Perry further explained the situation in the caption. "After I've gotten several calls from people giving me their condolences and I didn't know what they were talking about, I was sent this article that's going around. I don't know how she could have died and nobody told me or her. So I called her and asked her if she was dead, and she said, hell no. Can whoever is responsible for this please stop? You better be careful when you speak death over a child of God. This woman is loved by millions and you're hurting a lot of people." Cassi is fine living her best life with no worries, no cares, no social media, and no drama. She's waiting to shoot the next season of House of Pain. But the truth is that the big man is behind all the misery Cassi has been through lately. There is no question that Perry is a prominent player in the entertainment industry who worked his way to the top after taking the Atlanta theater community by storm and becoming a box office champ with his Madea series and gospel-based films. He gave audiences something Hollywood had largely ignored: stories and characters aimed at the life experiences of the Black community. But in the process, he allegedly sold his soul to the devil.
Hey D, Tyler Perry here. Want to take you on a tour of Tyler Perry Studios. So hop in, come on, let's go for a ride.
But like any successful figure, Perry's journey is full of controversies, and over the years, he hasn't exactly handled those situations well. In some cases, he even doubled down on his questionable behavior. If the rumors are to be believed, Perry's ego grew so big that he even went toe-to-toe with Oprah, as in the Oprah Winfrey we all know. Hey, it's not always easy to get ahead in Hollywood without pulling a few shady moves, and it seems Perry is no exception, but why risk the lives of others in the process? After striking it big at the box office, Perry set his sights on television, where he found success with the hit sitcom House of Pain, where Sissy and the rest took part. But just as Perry was preparing to sign a lucrative syndication deal and launch the spin-off Meet the Browns, Deadline dropped the surprising news that he fired 4 writers after they requested union contracts. The Writers Guild of America America stepped in and charged Perry's production company with unfair labor practice and bargaining in bad faith. It was not a good look.
Look who's back in the house with more painful surprises.
What are you wearing?
And bigger painful laughs.
You haven't named this child yet?
We just been calling her the baby.
I feel like I was slapped in the face like we were used, writer Terry Brown Jackson told Deadline. We were good enough to create over 100 episodes, but now when it comes to reaping the benefits of the show being syndicated and having other spin-offs from it, he decides to let us go unless we accept a horrible offer. Kelly Griffin, the head writer for House of Pain, said she wasn't going down without a fight. While I'd like to see something positive come out of this for us, if this fight helps future Black writers get what they deserve, that's a good thing. As for Perry learning his lesson, he did make a change to the writer's room for his future shows by not having one. The filmmaker told ABC News he writes everything himself now.
As I was writing this, I do something called disassociated writing. I didn't know this until somebody explained it to me. My gift to write was born out of trauma. So as a kid, my imagination was extreme.
And if you thought that was all, well, you thought wrong. Perry's union troubles didn't involve just writers. In 2015, 2 actor unions banned their members from performing in Perry's stage play Medea on the Run because his production company wouldn't sign a union contract. IndieWire reported why this boded poorly for Perry. In brief, a union contract essentially lists the terms and conditions of employment for union members, as well as the employer's obligations and responsibilities. In this case, ultimately, it's really there to protect the actors, the site said. And Perry, in refusing to sign a contract, suggests, as it did in the case of the 4 writers above, that he doesn't want to have to be bound to any agreements that might eat into his profits from the show. It seems like Perry's main concern is making money, which he does very well. Mind you, that doesn't mean everyone is thrilled with his methods. And who doesn't know he relies on stereotypes? Following the success of House of Pain and Meet the Browns, NPR published an open letter to Perry from African-American journalist and cultural critic Jamila Lemieux, who is proud of Perry's success, yet uncomfortable with his use of stereotypes that include buffoonish, emasculated Black men and crass, sassy Black women. Your most famous character, Medea, is a trash-talking, pistol-waving grandmother played by none other than you, Lemieux wrote. Through her, the country has laughed at one of the most important members of the Black community, Mother Dear, the beloved matriarch. I just can't quite get with seeing Mother Dear played by a 6'3" man with prosthetic breasts flopping in the wind. Our mothers and grandmothers deserve much more than that. Heck, our fathers and grandfathers deserve more. Mr. Perry, you have told the Hollywood old guard to kiss your backside, and I appreciate that, brother, she said. But many Black folks have expressed some of the very same attitudes about your work that white critics have. One of those Black folks Lemieux referred to is acclaimed film director Spike Lee, who famously took Perry to task for his stereotypical characters. Perry was pissed and had this to say.
That is my answer to Spike Lee. Go to hell.
I will punch the hell out of you. Say something.
Let me just say this about Spike, anybody else.
In an interview with 60 Minutes, Perry responded to Lee's claims that his shows are bringing Black people back to the days of Amos and Andy. All these characters are bait, disarming, charming, make you laugh, bait, Perry said. I can slap Medea on something and talk about God, love, faith, forgiveness, family, any of those. It's attitudes like Lee's that make Hollywood think that these people do not exist, and that's why there's no material speaking to them. Perry was much less eloquent when he later told Hip Hollywood that the Oscar-winning Lee could go to hell.
It's only Black people that do this to each other. I have never seen Jewish people complaining about Seinfeld. I've never seen Italian people complaining about The Sopranos. It's only us as Negroes.
The Medea star continued to ignore criticism and reportedly began attributing any backlash to his character's weight, according to The Root. When people were like, how dare you put fat Black people on television? These are caricatures. These are stereotypes. I was so offended because my aunt's fat. My mother's fat. My cousins are fat, Perry said. People who are like, how dare you? I would hear all these things and I would go, But The Root editor, Demetria Lucas Doyley, was not having it. Does Perry live in the same insulated bubble as R. Kelly, the one that keeps him so isolated from reality that he genuinely has no clue why his critics don't like his work? She wrote. There might be like 5 people who care about the weight of Perry's characters. In 2014, Perry was called out by the Huffington Post for the controversial ending to his movie Temptation. In the film, an unfaithful wife contracts HIV after cheating on her husband, while the husband rebounds with a beautiful new wife and family.
You run Landover Park
You run there?
every Saturday.
With your shirt off, so all the pretty girls could notice you.
Oh, you noticed me running.
Either Perry believes that if you cheat on your partner, you deserve a terrible disease, said HuffPost writer Mike Ryan, or he believes that the people he hopes will pay money to see Tyler Perry's Temptation believe that if you cheat on your spouse, you deserve a terrible disease. I can't decide which is worse. BuzzFeed took it even further. Writer Louis Peitzman noted that at least 3 characters in Temptation have HIV. How else to read the film then, but as a condemnation of sin and of those suffering from HIV? In the context of temptation, it is very much a sinner's disease, something that happens because a person did something morally wrong. That said, this wasn't the first time Perry used HIV as a plot device. In For Colored Girls, he gave us Jo, played by Janet Jackson, Peitzman said. She contracted HIV from her husband's infidelity with other men. I won't even go into the film's homophobia, another recurring issue in Perry's movies, but the basic idea is the same. Jo's husband gets HIV because he cheated on his wife. And Jo herself is apparently culpable because she knew her husband was gay and chose to ignore it.
I guess this is goodbye.
Like you've never seen it before.
Plot twist and illegal firing aside, Perry's persistent nightmare has been that involving comedian Monique. After winning an Academy Award in 2010 for Best Supporting Actress in the movie Precious, Monique's film career came to a screeching halt. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Precious director Lee Daniels told her she had been blackballed for refusing to play the game and campaign for her Oscar. She still won, but it allegedly cost her future roles in Daniels' films and others. Monique is a creative force to be reckoned with, Daniels said. Her demands through Precious were not always in line with the campaign. This soured her relationship with the Hollywood community. I consider her a friend. I have and will always think of her for parts that we can collaborate on. However, the consensus among the creative teams and powers thus far was to go another way with these roles. What most people don't know is that the creative teams and powers thus far reportedly referred to Perry and Oprah, who were both producers on Precious and worked closely with Daniels. In May 2017, Monique put all 3 on blast during a comedy set at the Apollo and took some creative liberties with the term blackballed. I was not blackballed, she said. I was whiteballed by some black D who have no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey.
So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed. By some black who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels.
Mo believes Perry and Oprah joined forces to completely ruin her career. To this day, the long-standing feud between the comedian and Oprah shows no signs of going away. According to TMZ, Monique is once again criticizing Winfrey and Tyler Perry, and she wasn't afraid to use profanity in her remarks as recently as May this year. Apparently, it all kicked off when Mo took to the stage during Cat Williams' comedy tour. F you Oprah Winfrey, F you Tyler Perry, she said, as reported by TMZ. She also questioned the nature of Oprah's relationship with Gayle King, insinuating that the pair were romantically involved before continuing, I'm too MFing old to be scared of this bee. I'm too old to be intimidated by this bee. I'm too old to hold the MFing truth. And it seems the mess is not going away anytime soon, as Perry is now being accused of trying to find a Monique lookalike and casting her in one of his latest works. Perry's new film, Divorce in the Black, has the media circuit buzzing, with many drawing conclusions about Megan Good and Corey Hardrict, 2 recently divorced actors portraying a divorced couple in a movie.
You are home now, and you are safe.
No light in the dark.
I tried everything.
Actor Richard Lawson, who recently divorced Tina Knowles, is also part of the stellar cast, but people are talking about another character appearing within the first 8 minutes of the film, who resembles Perry's longtime nemesis, Monique. One social media user on X wrote, "Why does the lady at the church scene in at Tyler Perry Divorce in the Black look like Monique? Is it just me?" Another said, "That's crazy, I said the same thing in my head. She was like the Temu version of Monique." A third said, "Getting fake Monique is diabolical. Billionaire petty different # divorce. In the Black, boss." In the scene, Richard Lawson is preaching at a funeral, although his eulogy is anything but warm and inviting. Instead of speaking about the young boy's character and what he meant to others, Pastor Clarence offended the boy's mother, Ms. Linda, played by Ursula O. Robinson. He revealed that Linda's son was shot while trying to rob another church member after recently getting out of jail. The angry mother then attacked the pastor and his congregation for voicing their seemingly judgmental views at such an unusual time. Pastor Clarence then suggested that he and his family were paying for the funeral out of pity, which infuriated her more. Linda then took off her hat and wraparound dress and threw them at the pastor. She then instructed her sons, including the Dallas character played by Corey Hardrict, to remove the boy from the casket completely. "Y'all get the boy!" "No, not the casket, take him out," she yelled. "Tyler Perry thinks he's slick. Got a Monique look-alike to give Monique vibes without actually paying for Monique. Just shady, especially given the animosity between them," wrote one of many fans who viewed Robinson as a Monique doppelganger. "My exact thoughts," said another. "Y'all think it was out of spite to Monique? I do." Dozens said the role of Linda wasn't far from Monique's role as the mother in Lee Daniels' Precious. One said, "Reminded me of Monique's character in Precious," as others confessed that Monique would have K-it, but Robinson did her big one with this role. A third fan added, "You know Mo was on the mood board for this one." As mentioned earlier, Mo and Perry's beef dates back to her time after wrapping up filming for the 2009 film, which earned her an Oscar award. As executive producers, Perry and Oprah Winfrey wanted the Queens of Comedy alum to head out on a promotional tour involving interviews and talk shows. However, the actress was against flying to the Cannes Film Festival for an unpaid gig, which she claimed was not in her contract. She had explained to Oprah and others that her priorities were her husband and sons, with whom she wanted to spend a little bit of downtime. "So I'm not going anywhere because I'm not obligated to go anywhere. I've done my part," she told The Hollywood Reporter. "So we mutually agreed to disagree. That was it. Next thing I know, I am considered difficult and hard to work with." The Parker's star said Daniels even warned her, stating, "I just don't think it's going to play out good for you." And that was a problem, said Monique. The problem of how could this fat black woman say no to the powers that be in Hollywood? Mo accused all three filmmakers of blackballing her from the industry by painting her as a difficult woman to work with in Hollywood, costing her millions in roles she otherwise would have gotten. She even went as far as trying to expose Perry by revealing a recorded phone call where he agreed that claims about her being difficult to work with were unfair.
Now, to Tyler Perry's credit, Tyler Perry called us up, right? And he said, "I can see the pain in you and I can hear it. And I want to let you know that I would never do nothing to hurt you."
Also on the call, the Medea show creator vowed to make things right with her. But in February 2024, she revealed they were still on the outs. "I never complained about the $50,000, Monique said on Club Shay Shay, referring to the amount she received for her role in Precious. "I did everything I was supposed to do. It is when they started asking me to become a slave. It is when Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey started asking me to work for free. It is when they started doing the bidding for whomever the gatekeeper was at the time." This was also amid her long battle against Netflix, which offered her less than $500,000 for a comedy special. After a public lawsuit, they were able to make things right, and she released her My Name is Monique special in 2023. It's unclear how much she was paid. Over the years, she's used her stand-up routines to take jabs at Perry, Oprah, and Daniels, who placed her in another movie role after publicly apologizing in 2022. Taking aim at Perry and T.D. Jakes, Monique said, "And who swallowed you? Medea? Hello." She said that during a comedy show on Cat Williams' The Dark Matters tour in April this year. While there, she incited the crowd to call Perry or Winfrey coons. Monique aside, it is also said that Perry did beef with Oprah at some point. In 2012, Perry left TBS for OWN, where he created 3 series for Oprah's network. At the time, it seemed like a perfect fit because the two had worked closely together for more than a decade. However, according to the Daily Mail, their relationship allegedly went south in 2016 over Perry's supposed inability to accept criticism. The situation reportedly grew especially heated when Oprah suggested Perry bring on writers after a focus group felt his scripts could be improved significantly. That's when Oprah finally got to see a side of Tyler she hadn't experienced yet, a source told the Tab. He resisted her feedback, the same way he resists the feedback of critics and media people who chastise his work, and became extremely defensive with her. He told her, "Aren't the shows delivering ratings for the network? Well, then let me do what I do, and you can keep your focus group research to yourself." There was one small problem. Perry didn't leave TBS for OWN because his shows were so successful. He left because the ratings were tanking, and he allegedly refused to listen to network feedback, so TBS didn't renew his contract. In essence, Oprah bailed him out, but he was reportedly making the same mistakes all over again. While Perry and Oprah's best friend Gayle King both denied reports of a feud, he inked a deal with Viacom in 2017 instead of extending his exclusive contract with OWN. It sure seems like something went down. Perry's spiritual alignment is another point of contention. In 2013, the actor donated $1 million to T.D. Jakes' ministry is shown during a performative video that viewers call everything from a disgusting sham to a powerful move of God. One of Perry's critics was social and religious issues writer Candace Benbow, who is both a fan of Perry's work and Jakes' ministry. Benbow said she was deeply concerned about the practice of prosperity theology, where poor and vulnerable parishioners are encouraged to give money with promises of increased returns. I believe we can't afford to miss the issue much larger than Perry and Jakes at work here, Benbow wrote. African Americans lead in tithes and offerings, but also lead in being adversely affected by all socioeconomic disparities. The economic commodification of the gospel has been peddled on Black people in a way that no other culture has experienced. And seemingly, it happened again. Here, a man born into poverty who rose to riches on messages of hope and faith donates $1 million to a man who was born into poverty and rose to riches on messages of hope and faith. I can certainly understand folks' frustrations. Perry seems to have largely ignored those who criticize his support of prosperity theology. He made a big show of it following a natural disaster that caused a scandal for one of the movement's most prominent preachers. So clearly, Sissy is not alone. Perry has made quite a bunch of enemies, even those who believed in him before. But how long will he continue like this? Only time will tell. And that's it from us today. Until next time, thank you for watching.